Hello and welcome to Modern Thatch Living. Today what I'd like to do is a project for fun rather than necessity. So I thought what I'd do is make Nuala a hanging necklace box to replace this necklace tree here. The issue with the tree is that the necklaces are exposed to the atmosphere and so they oxidize quite quickly and need to be cleaned. The box itself will need to be the same sort of height as this, so about 35 centimeters high. And I thought I'd make it hexagonal in design, which offers some challenges. And each side of the hexagon will need to be about 8 centimeters long, I think. Anyway, let's go out to the woodshed and see how we get on with making this. Okay, so I've found a piece of maple which I've milled down to 1 centimeter thick. I plan to use this for the doors on the jewellery box. I think I'll probably make the base a little bit thicker, but we'll see when we get to that. So the next thing is to cut this out at the right angles for the doors. So I think that I need a 90-degree angle at the hinge joint and then a 30-degree angle for the closing part of the door. That way we get 120 degrees, which is the internal diameter of a hexagon. So let's try that and see if I've actually calculated and worked this out right. So here we go. Basically at the minute I've got a 60-degree angle here and I actually need a 30-degree angle. So I'm going to have to take this off with a plane, I think. Large, this looks okay. So actually the one that's worse is the first one I cut. I was obviously being a bit careful there. So I think if I take that one out and plane it a bit more, I can probably improve that. The angle's not quite right on the edge and there's a bit of a curve. So I think with a block plane I can just clean this up. Anyway, that's the outside of the box. Okay, so let's just clean this up and then think about the next bit. made the basic box components now. The tape isn't holding the box quite in the right shape, but you can see it will fit. A little bit squeezing. What I need to do now is make a tree for the middle to hang the necklaces on. That also fixes the base to the top, and I need to figure out how I'm going to do the hinges, because each of these panels is going to open out, so I need to design a hinge for each of these corners. So right, we've got all the pieces cut now and lightly sanded. On YouTube videos it's sometimes difficult to tell how long it's taken somebody to make an object or make parts. So far I've spent one whole day, and then I've done a couple of hours every evening for the last week. And I think today we'll probably get pretty close to finishing it. So I've lightly sanded everything and I've marked it all up for drilling for the hinges. Now I've thought about the hinges quite long and hard, and I think I've come up with a solution for what I want to do now. And the way I've decided to tackle this is I bought some steel tubing that's 3.3 millimeters internal diameter and some steel rods that are 3 millimeters in diameter, and I've cut them all down to size, as you can see here. And so the tubing parts will go into the doors, top and bottom, and the pins will go into the base and the top of the unit. So what we need to do now is to drill all the holes that are needed for the hinges. What I've done is I marked up the top and the base with a line 1 centimetre in all the way round, and where they overlap, that's where I'm going to drill the holes for the hinges. The doors are about 12 millimetres thick, and the way this will work out is there'll be a slight overlap, so the joints won't be sitting edge to edge, but one door will slightly overlap the other. Probably a bit like that, so that there's a bit of an edge to get your fingers on. Quite how it's going to work out I'm not sure until I've assembled it, and I might need to adjust the size of the doors slightly to take account for inaccuracies in some of the measurements, because I can see just looking at the top and the base, they aren't perfect hexagons, so there is going to be some adjustment needed probably. Once I've done that, I'll lightly sand everything down, and then we can glue it all together and see what it looks like. So I'm going to carry on and start doing this now. let's see how this fits together now. Okay, that's pretty nice. Some of these doors fit better than others, but it might be because it's not quite vertical. The angle on this door is slightly off, so when I push it in, it opens the one next to it. So what I need to do is just trim that door down. So I better mark that up. A bit of tape. The angle is not quite right on that, so I just need to take the plane along that edge. So if I show you this one here, when I push it in, it actually opens up this one here. So push that in, because the angle's not quite right. So I need to make this angle a bit shallower. So other than that, most of these actually work surprisingly well. Actually, that's really good. There's only one I need to trim down, and consider I basically cut all these by eye. Go. Much better. Okay, that all now works very nicely. Right, so now I think what it would be quite nice to do is just take these edges off with the block plane before I glue it all together. So I'll just do that next. Right, it's all assembled now and we just need to let the glue dry. Now it's really cold out here at the minute, so I'm actually going to take it into the house so that the glue dries a bit quicker. And now's a good time, I think, for a cup of tea and to let my toes warm up a bit. So off we go into the house then. Okay, I'm just going to oil this necklace box with Danish oil. I quite like that. I think it makes the patterns in the wood show up quite nicely, particularly after a little while when the oil's darkened a bit. So there we are, the necklace box is complete now, and I'm quite pleased with the way it's worked out, all in all. I think that if I was doing it again, I would spend a bit more care making the top and bottom. I can see these not perfect hexagonals every time I look at it. And I think if I were doing it again, I would definitely use a protractor to measure the angles. Sharp pencil would have helped, and I would actually make a template out of plywood first, make sure that was correct, and then use that template to cut out the maple. The reason I didn't remake the top and bottom when I saw it was not correct when I cut it out was because I didn't want to spend the time and effort milling down some more maple to repeat that. Retrospectively, I probably should have done that, but it is surprising how much time it takes to prepare wood for use. I think the other thing, if I wanted to make this more perfect than it is at the minute, is I would actually machine the joint angles. You can buy a router bit which is 120 degrees, and that would leave you with a 30-degree angle on the edge of your wood, and then these doors would look very, very neat. However, what I was trying to do here was actually have a bit of fun, and I enjoyed using the hand tools, and it's come out pretty well, all in all. So, you know, the question is, would you want it perfect, or do you want to do something where you spent a bit more time doing it by hand, enjoyed the process, and still looks pretty good? So anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed watching that, and potentially you might have a go at making something like this as a present. You know, at the minute when I'm making this video, Christmas is only a month away, so you know, it's something that you could have a go at if you wanted. All in all, in terms of the total time it took, it's about 2 days, but that was spread over a week. And yeah. Anyway, as I say, I hope that you've enjoyed watching this, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye.